Please take your seats. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test.
So it appears that Secretary Hegseth's message to the assembled crowd of hundreds of active duty flag officers was basically to reinforce the sort of sentiment he's been promoting, Secretary Hegseth has been promoting since he came on board, is to kind of reinforce the fact that, from the top all the way to the bottom within the military, that everyone needs to embrace this warrior ethos, and that everything else that's extraneous to that now needs to fall by the wayside. So that seems to be the main thrust of his remarks today. Because if you look at the diversity of the military right now, it's probably one of the most diverse institutions inside the United States. Hopefully it stays that way. And again, I think that's a strength of the U.S. military, unlike other foreign militaries around the world.
Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading, and we lost our way. We became the woke department, but not anymore.
Well, one of the interesting things that apparently is being, or it's in development right now, is something called the National Defense Strategy. And these are policy documents that are put together every time you have a new administration that comes into office. And now we have President Trump coming back for a second term. I was in the White House on the National Security Council when that President Trump's first term National Defense Strategy was being sort of developed or conceived. I wasn't part of it, but again, I was at least on the National Security Council, sort of around people who were working on it. So it'll be really interesting to see when this document comes out, how will it be different from the Biden National Defense Strategy and even the first Trump administration's National Defense Strategy. There's other media reporting suggesting that this document has been under development for a while now, and that sort of the major shift it will signal if it does come out, is that the sort of the operational focus of the military is going to be more drawn inwards to homeland defense and homeland security related matters, which would be a major shift. But at the same time, the military still has to prepare for fighting wars overseas, because the U.S. has a number of adversaries overseas, and we're going to have to figure out a way to do both things at the same time, and it's not 100% one direction versus the other.
And that's why today at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession.
Get some more smoke. Friendly coming up, now put y'all in. Come on.
Hey,
let's go.
Get
up here.
Friendly. You're coming up, get up.
Right there, you see where the smoke's going at?
Come on.
Next one.
I call it the no more walking on eggshells policy. We are liberating commanders and NCOs. We are liberating you. We are overhauling an inspector general process, the IG, that has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat.
Well, I think these are all the hard lessons that have been learned over in the post 9/11 era to rethink. Again, if we are going to be involved in war fighting overseas, how do you draw on the lessons of the last 20 plus years, and even going back to Vietnam or other conflicts when at best those were stalemates. And again, and I think one of the lessons of the wars in both Iraq and Afghanistan, we achieved a lot of tactical and operational success against insurgents and terrorist groups. And I was involved in sort of looking at that from a counterterrorism perspective, not in the military, but in the intelligence side of things. But at the end of the day, the military also got saddled with missions and roles and responsibilities that the military is not trained and equipped and designed to do in terms of nation building and institution building in countries that don't have a history of these kind of institutions as well. And so those are the things we probably don't want to do again. And Secretary Hegseth has also mentioned that, like, we are out of the nation building business. And I agree with him on that point, because we never should have done that in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. We should have
Move out and draw fire, because we are the War Department. Godspeed.
Room. Attention.
A lot of bad people, but all over that's been so popular. It's been very popular. In fact, you can't even go into the room because what you're doing is not appropriate. The name is, but we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly. After spending trillions of dollars defending the borders of foreign countries, with your help, we're defending the borders of our country from now on.